that, it's November 27th,
Right.
1984, and this is in Ray Goulet's Magic Shop. And we're having a video, one of our first video nights, or the first video night for IBM 122. My name's Dave Downs, I'm the president of the group this year. And the first person I want to introduce tonight is Ray Goulet, who is the territorial vice president of IBM in our area, and also the first president of IBM Ring 122 years ago. Ray.
I'm just going to do this because they're going to have this at the auction. It's called the Grand Hotel by Steve Duchek. You may examine that. Okay, that's going to be auctioned off a little later. All right?
Our raffle.
Raffle, sorry about that. This was donated, I'd like to show you this, I don't know if you can get it on the camera, by Dave Cressy, and you'll see why. We've named this, you probably don't know this, La Chambre Le Grand David. And that's the room, Le Grand David. We've named this room the Le Grand David room, and you'll see why. These are done in brass. We'll unveil this and show you a piece of art that's spectacular. Wow. I was fortunate, first of all, I'm fortunate in knowing these people. Second, to knowing that they're my friends. And they have made 3 of these statues in solid bronze. And there's 6 figures. You see Marco over here. There's David on the broom. Seth sitting down. Ellen, who was part of the broom illusion, is in the background. And a Webster who does the narrating. And Professor Besco is in the far back. Now, later on you come up, there's such detail on this, it's unbelievable. The costuming and the little bits of detail that you have to really study. However, I only ask you to one thing, do not touch it. And the reason being that the acid in your body doesn't help the statue in any way. So try to keep your hands off of it. And you can see why I said to Dave, don't put the linking rings on that walnut piece. It weighs 500 pounds. We picked it up at the foundry in Peekskill. It took over a year in making it, and it was sculptured by David's father, who has been an amateur sculptor all his life. And they assigned him this duty about a year and a half ago, and he made 3 of them. One is now in the Lincoln Center, and that's in a silver patina, and that'll stay there until the end of December, which time the magic showing at that place. Have anybody going to New York in the next, you're going to go see the exhibit at Lincoln Center? Well, it's in a silver tone patina. That'll go to Marshall, Michigan, to the American Museum. The second one, of course, we have here now in our museum. And the third one they will keep there at the Cabot Street Cinema Theater. So I'm kind of proud and very fortunate that they bestowed such a gift on us here at the Magic Art Studio. It cost over $25,000 to produce this. So you can see that in 50 or 100 years from now, this is going to be quite priceless. I won't be around to see it, but if you want to ask me any questions about it, I'll be glad to answer you. The base is not finished yet. We're trying to get the right tone of stain, and there's going to be a background here that's going to highlight the statue. So there's a lot of things happening, and that's the reason we named this the Le Grand David room. I think it's worthy of it. And they have done wonders with magic here in New England, as you know. There's no question about that. Any questions?
Oh. That's super.
Yes, I can. Yeah. Everybody that has come in, people that are not acquainted with the Magic Art Studio, and spectators, really, not magicians, the words out of their mouth are spectacular and unbelievable. It's the largest statue ever made in magic. I don't think there'll ever be anything any larger. So that's it, and enjoy it. It'll be here for as long as we're here. And if we move, which our intent is in a few years, we're planning on growing. We've got growing pains now. We're looking for a building, and if we do, then you'll really see a museum. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you don't appreciate it with glass.
Okay. For our second performer tonight, we have Anthony Murphy. He's the president of SAM 104 up in Salem. Let's give him a nice big hand.
Thank you and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to tell you about one of the oldest swindles known to man. It was first performed by Philistine slaves at the feet of the pyramids of Egypt under the careful eye of the Pharaoh in the year 1700 BC. And it was smuggled into this country in the bilges of the vessels of the Spanish Main by Portuguese sailors, little bitty ones, and they were summarily executed for betraying this ancient, dark, and dankest of all secrets. So I begin each performance of it with a small moment of quiet respect for those who gave their lives. Amen. Now, this is how the game goes. First of all, it's called the sidewalk broad toss. And for good reason. You see, it's usually played on a sidewalk when three ladies from the deck come into play. First, the queen of clubs. The queen of clubs, which is tossed. Second, the queen of hearts. The queen of hearts, which is tossed. And finally, the queen of spades. Yes, spades. The queen of spades, which is tossed. Now, those of you that have been paying attention, you may have noticed that I miscalled the suits of those cards. Magicians call that misdirection. I call it lying, but you see, it all amounts to the same thing. It's meant to confuse you. Because when the tosser asks you to bet on where the red queen is, maybe you think you know, and maybe you don't. But even if you think you know, let me give you a word of advice. Don't bet with him, because you see, he knows the game a lot better than you, or he wouldn't be playing it in the first place. I'd like to tell you just another little story. It's something magicians have been doing for years now. They've been trying to pass one solid object through another. Only a few magicians have ever learned the secret of how it's done. Many years ago, Houdini had a solid brick wall built on a New York stage, and he walked through that wall. Now, when the wall was built, the audience was able to see the top of the wall, so they knew he couldn't climb over it. They were able to see both ends of the wall, so that they knew he couldn't go around it without being seen. And before the wall was built, a carpet was laid on the stage, so that no trap door could be used. But Houdini would go behind a curtain and almost instantaneously appear on the other side of that wall. Well, tonight, in Watertown, Massachusetts, you are going to see one solid object penetrate another. Now, I did ask Ray Goulet if I could build a brick wall here, but he didn't sort of go for that idea, even though I was going to leave it as a monument to magic. So what I did, you see, I brought along my own solid objects. Two very solid pieces of rope. And one solid block of wood, except for the hole right through the center. Other than that hole, that piece of wood is very solid. Watch. You'll notice that there are no false moves of any kind. The two pieces of rope go right into the solid piece of wood. Two solid pieces of rope, one solid piece of wood. watch. Because all I do is cast the shadow. And that solid block of wood penetrates those two pieces of wood.
This is Pac-Man, and how many of you played Pac-Man, the game Pac-Man? So you have some idea, the little guys with the big mouths that go around and okay, and the ghosts try and eat these guys up. Well, these are Pac-Man, but there's a twist to them. You have to guess what you'd call this Pac-Man here. Can anyone guess what it would be called? Okay, perhaps I ought to start it off by telling you that this is a pack-o'-lantern. Right?
Very good.
This is a pack-o'-lantern. Okay, now with that in mind, who can tell me what this is?
Back to farmer.
Close. We heard that was Pack-a-Farmer was a guess. Someone else.
Old Pack Donald.
You've got it. Old Pack Donald. Give him a hand. Good going. All right. Okay. How about this one? You ought to be good enough at this now so you can guess. What was that? Pack or not? It could have been, yes. Could be. A Pack-coon. We got that one. No, you got it. You've been reading the book? All right, a Pack-coon. Who can guess what this one is here? All right, this is a psychopath.
Yeah,
It's a psychopath, or a scaredy pack. Either one. How about this one here?
Packworm.
Close, pack one. This is bacteria. Bacteria. How about this one right here? This is good for Wednesday nights.
Packaroni.
Yes, you got it. Packaroni. All right. And the next one. This one, who can guess this one here?
Packer Jacks.
Good going. Packer Jacks, you're right. Nowadays, because all the children, they feel it's Pac-Man cereal, which is out on the market right now.
I don't get it.
You don't get it, all right? Well, Packer Jacks, I'll tell you later. How about this one? Who thinks they know what this is?
Too late.
I've forgotten myself. Let's see here. Oh, yes, all right. It's been a while. What was that? Pack whale, it could be, sure. Could be Moby the Pickle, too, but it isn't. This is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It is. The Hunchback. How about this one here? Yes, you have it. That's Packbeard the Pirate. Packbeard the Pirate. And this is the last one. Oh, no, it isn't the last one. This is Pac-Man having his friend over for lunch. But, yeah, this next one is the last one. It's my favorite. Who thinks they know what this one is? We'll have to give the camera a good look on that one, because I'm not sure it's even going to pick up on it. Anyone guess what this is? That's a good guess. It could be alcohol. Actually, this is a practical joke. All right, now for our next performer, we have Everett Minerva, who has the largest exclusive by appointment only dealer in New England. He has lessons, magic supplies, books, and entertainment services at his store by appointment only. So this is Everett Minerva. Let's give him a nice big hand, folks.
First I ever received here. Thank you very much, Dave. Well, anyway,
And now we're going to have the amazing, amusing Gordini, otherwise known as Gordon Berry. Let's give him a nice big hand.
I don't know if this is my favorite trick or not, but possibly it is. I've seen it so many times, and I just think it's great. Can you all see the blue handkerchief hiding in the center there? Can you see it, sir? Can you see it any more clearly on this side, the blue handkerchief in the center? Look, I'm going to ask you, would you poke a little hole right there? Just push it right down. Push way down, okay. Can you all see the blue handkerchief that he put? What is real and what is imagined? People aren't really sure, but if I just say hocus pocus, sometimes people think they see just a little speck of blue right there in the center of the yellow. If it's just a little speck of blue, we don't have to be concerned about it. But if, in fact, from bare hands, we find a handkerchief that is bright blue and bigger than the yellow one, now people begin to get concerned. So if, in fact, you missed it, possibly you'd like to know why you missed it. Anybody here like to know why they missed that? Why? Well, I have a little secret trick that I do here. You see, I take the handkerchief, the big blue one. Did I show you how big it is? And what I do is I poke it in here. And when I poke it in here, what I try and do is get it into just a little small bunch. And if I poke it in small enough, it gets so small, it gets about the size of a BB. And you see, as it gets smaller, that you hardly notice it anymore. Is this illusion or is this real? Does anyone know? Can you see? It seems to get smaller and smaller. And if you're lucky, after a while, you think that it's going to squash right in. Would you just take hold of this corner right here? Just that one right there. You see, if I get it small enough, it gets about the size of a BB, and it blends in so well you can hardly see it on this side, you can hardly see it on that side. I thought you might be interested. I'm lucky because I have here a magic newspaper. It's a newspaper about a magic show, a very great magic show, a wonderful magic show. They do real magic, the people that are on these papers. I'm going to try and do a trick with just one of these pieces of paper. I want to produce something from one of these pages, and the pages are really empty. There's nothing hiding in here. David, shall I do the trick with this piece of paper, over this piece of paper?
Well, let's do it with that piece.
You're sure?
Yes.
I trust from where you are, David, you can see that there's nothing hiding in there, because there really isn't. But let's make it even a little more interesting and tear it right down the center like this. And now, the problem becomes more acute, David, because if you select the right one, I'm in business, and if you select the wrong one, I'm done. Which paper shall I do the trick?
The one with the pretty girl upside
The
down.
one with the pretty girl. Can you see anything hiding in there, David?
Nope.
You can't. Good. I was hoping that you could. Now the question becomes extremely critical. If you pick the right one, I'm in business. If you don't, I'm out of business. Which one of these papers should I do the trick?
The one on your right.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Don't want to change your mind. This one here. Had you said this one, I would have felt a lot better. But it doesn't make a whole big difference. I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this. You people that are close enough, you know what to expect. I hope from this piece of paper to make you think that you are seeing a little handkerchief grow bigger and bigger till it looks as if it's big. Now, if you just get one out of here, people say, well, I know what that must have been. But the people who are saying what they know what it must have been, when they put their thinking caps on, they say, well, he couldn't have gotten two in there. So that's why I do that. I've seen fellows on the stage do it in a more grand fashion. Would you like to see the trick done with this piece of paper here or this piece of paper here? Joe, which one?
The left.
The left, my left.
You're right.
My right. Do it with this piece of paper here. I'm going to put this one away. I'm going to show you that this piece of paper has also nothing hiding in it. And yet with an empty hand, if I just go kapoom like this, kapoom, sometimes the paper that you asked for, Joe, seems to have a handkerchief sort of growing right out of the center of it. Now look, I'm going to turn it this way like this. Joe, if I hit it again right here like that for the people in the back that didn't see it the first time, some of those people in the back seem to think, well, it took on a second color. And then once more, if I got lucky and I went for three, would you believe from the paper that Joe said, there are three. I hope there's someone here close enough that would, you're close enough. Would you just tell me, is this one piece of paper or is this two pieces of paper? Because if it's two pieces of paper, it's no trick at all. One piece. Are you sure of that? Watch carefully because nothing hiding here, nothing here. I'm going to make you think that you see the paper torn in two. I hope it looks to you that way as if you saw the paper torn in two. Ladies and gentlemen, please believe me, this is an illusion. I have a very clever way of moving my hands and making a little noise with my mouth so that you think you see the paper torn. But I do not really tear the paper. This is an illusion. This is the last time that I'm going to try and make you think that you see the paper torn. You're close enough, sir. Am I hiding anything in my hand?
No, you're not.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is fold this a little bit like that. Don't have to worry about that. Am I hiding anything in my hand? When I say that, and I do like that, I'm going to say the magic word that I learned in church. Bingo. When I say bingo, if I'm lucky, you're going to see something that you may not believe. Now, before people jump to the wrong conclusion and say, I know what's going on here, before they do, I'm going to give you the paper to examine, and then I'm going to say, that's the end of that. I'm going to do something tonight that I have never done before. I am going to introduce a friend of mine to help me do a card trick. I have here with me a very good assistant. This young fella is a graduate of Harvard Business School. And if I'm lucky, he will help me do a marvelous card trick. Anyone have a deck of cards with them that I could use, or will you trust my deck of cards? 52 different cards. Some are red, some are black, some have pictures on them, some have faces on them. What I'm going to do is just shuffle them up for a little bit like this. I will shuffle them till you tell me to stop. Whoops, there goes one in the wrong way. You tell me to stop, that's one. If you would, why don't you just put your finger on it? Take any card, it doesn't matter. Help yourself, any place you want, whatever. And if you want, you will show it to the audience. Pull it up, pull it up. Show it to the audience if you will, please. Okay? Why don't you put it back any place you like? I don't know if you've seen this one before. I have yet to see it because I think my friend Daffy Duck, Woody Duckworth, is going to do the trick for me, I hope. Now, if I'm lucky, this duck of mine will do a trick for you and maybe find your card. If I'm lucky, he will do it and find it on the third attempt because he has goofed up a couple of times. I know sometimes when I did this, people said, well, the duck may have seen the card. And so that sort of spoiled it because they thought, well, the duck might have seen the card. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do something tonight I've never done before. I'm going to put a blindfold on Woody the Duck and hope, while he's blindfolded, that he still might find your card. Did everyone see the card that was selected? Woody is going to take a couple of shots that I imagine will not be your card. Look at that. He's got one, and I'll bet that was not your card. I'm going to bet he takes one more that will not be your card. I'll bet that was not your card. And if we're lucky, if Woody is as good as I hope he is, let's hope he comes up with your card. I don't know your card. So would you tell everyone and me for the first time the name of your card? My friend Woody the Duck. God bless him. Who knows that? I trust that you can all see that this does not have any wires or threads on it. It's bigger than a golf ball. My hand is empty. It's bright red. Do you know where I put it? I put it right there. In just a minute, if I'm lucky, that little red sponge ball is going to become invisible, and it's going to float right around. Say go, and it went, and I think I'll go too.
All right. This next fellow is Kevin the Conjurer with his mathematical ropes. Kevin was a member of our group for a number of years, and he's visiting tonight. Let's give him a nice big hand. Kevin the Conjurer.
I'd like to introduce you to one of my favorite mysteries, and it consists of 3 ropes. And it goes back to my math teacher. I know Dave's dad was a math teacher. And when I was in high school, I was one of those difficult students. And my math teacher said that things that are unequal to the same thing can't be equal to each other. Remember that? Things are back and forth. So what I did was I took 3 unequal ropes, and I made the 3 ends equal. And then I took a 3rd rope, and I made, so I basically had 3 unequal ends equal. And my math teacher laughed and said, just because you have 3 unequal ropes that have equal ends does not make the ropes equal. So I brought up the other 3 ends also, and I made those equal. And I showed my math teacher how I now had 6 equal ends. He says, it's true, you do have 6 equal ends, but it doesn't make the ropes equal. So we had to pull a few strings. And then I showed him how actually things that had been unequal could also be equal. And he said, gee, I guess you're right. And of course, being a magician, you always say it's true when it's untrue, because things that are equal can also be unequal. I showed him a medium rope, and that little short rope, and a long rope. Thank you.
Zeros, more kisses and hugs. So by the time I got into third grade, I learned what to do. So when I brought my report card home, when I showed it to my father, I said, "Here, Dad, here's my report card. Oh, and here's yours I found up in the attic." Well, are you all set, Joe? You, Joe VENUTO, we all set? We can't see anything.
You're on.
On, Joe?
You're on.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Been on.
Okay, the next performer is Ann Fields. She's a past president of IBM 122 here in Boston. She's also the past editor of the Silent Messenger. Let's give Ann a nice big hand.
What I'd like to do right now, I'd like the assistance of a couple of people. Joe, would you come up and help me? And there's a gentleman sitting there in a gray brown jacket. Would you come up and help me, please? And your name is?
Joe Champagne.
Joe Champagne. And your name?
Frank Guzzo.
Frank Guzzo. Thank you very much for coming out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spread these cards out, and I'd like you to just pull out the card. All right, now, the card has been pulled out halfway, and we're just going to turn that over and use that as a dividing card. Okay, on the top of that card, I want you to pick up the card on the top. Right here we have a phantasmagorical jewel, the eye of Jonathan. The eye of Jonathan knows all and tells all. That's what it's now. Right. Now what I'd like you to do is take a look at your cards. Now, like we do in the morning, as we do with all glasswares, I'd like you to throw some hot air onto the slide. And look up, give it a good hot flow there. What do you see?
6 of diamonds.
Thank you, Joe. Could you blow hot air on that? Now, what card do you hold? Ace of hearts?
Let me know.
You're on.
Okay. The next performer tonight is Art Gegenheimer, who... Didn't you bring your guitar with you? Oh, I thought he was going to do the Flight of the Bumblebee for us.
I broke the X string.
Oh, yes. The person's written many, many articles for us in the Silent Messenger off the top of my head, is the name of the column. Well, let's
Comes out.
yeah, okay. Let's give Art a nice big hand. Art Gegenheimer.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you very much. I work under the name of Reynard because my real name is Gegenheimer, unless everyone doesn't know it. That's why I work under the name of Reynard. Many years ago, I worked through an agency in Boston, K.M. White Agency. Mr. White is now deceased. And he said, I'm going to call you Reynard. So I said, I don't care what you call me, as long as you give me some work, so that's what he called me. I've always used it. I usually start off my program with the cage. I usually use music, and I usually come out and I say, good evening, ladies, and whatever you happen to bring in with you. I'm only kidding. My name is Reynard, I guess you know yours. Between my hands, I hold a cage, and in it a bird. I want you to keep one eye on the cage, one eye on me, and the other eye on the fellow next to you, because you never know. When I count 3, I'm going to try to make that disappear, and you'll not see it go. Watch. 1, 2, 2.5, 2 3/4. Hup! There we have it.
Count lines that have just a few words or whatever, that's a line, right? Okay? So there you go. Would you turn your back to me? I'll turn my back to you. And Dave, just think of, just open up any page at all, and let me know what page you're on so I can try and pick it up in my mind, David.
Okay, page 55.
55, you want, okay, pretty far into it. All right. What line, Dave?
Line 8.
Okay, 8 lines down. How many words in, Dave?
7.
Oh boy, I don't know. Okay, I'll try, Dave. Close up the book so I can't see it. Turn around, let's see. Turn around so I can't. Okay, just close up the book. I don't know. So many words in the book. I think it's something high, like it's not a tower. Would it start with an S, Dave?
Yeah.
Would it be satellite?
Yes.
Is that it? Would you like to try it again? Let's give Dave a nice big hand. I have another boy in my room. His name is Joe, and he came in. Heck, it must have been yesterday. And I said, "Gee, Joe, I kind of hate to embarrass the kids, so I have to take them aside sometimes. But I said, Joe, I'm awful sorry, but you've got to wash your face more often." And he said, "Why, Mr. Downs?" He said, "I teach 3rd grade." And I said, "Well, Joe, I can tell that you had egg for breakfast today." And he laughed and smiled at me and said, "Oh, you're wrong, Mr. Downs. I had that yesterday." How much longer? I had made a mistake in front of the kids. I don't know if it was a fact or what it was, but I make mistakes all the time with the kids, and they make mistakes all the time. And a point that I try and get across to the children is that everybody makes mistakes, and you just try and learn from the mistakes. And so someone had made a mistake, and I was trying to make the girl feel better that everybody makes mistakes, even I make mistakes. And someone else piped up who had a lot of background, I guess, in religion, and said, "Mr. Downs, God never makes a mistake." So I wasn't quite sure what to say at that point. And another boy piped up and said, "Oh, yes, he does. I was a mistake. I heard my mother say so." But that is a true story. Sitting under the apple tree, and one guy's Joe, the other guy's Harry, and a horsefly starts flying around Harry. So Harry said, "Hey, Joe, what's that?" And Joe looks up and he said, "Oh, that's a horsefly." He says, "A horsefly? What's a horsefly, Harry?" And Harry said, "Well, Joe, a horsefly is a fly that flies around horses and cows and donkeys and such." And he thinks for a while and says, "Hey, you're not trying to call me a donkey, are you?" And he said, "No, I'm not trying to make out to call you a donkey, but you sure can fool that horsefly." I'm sure many of you How about the 2 guys that died? And when they died, they took 2 different routes. One went up and one went down. And so the guy who went up, he called up his friend on the telephone. "Hey, how you like it down there?" And his friend down there, "Oh, it's great. All we have to do down here is wear a red suit with horns. And every now and then we just shovel some coal on the fire. How do you like it up there?" And Harry up there said, "Oh, wow, it's awful hot. We have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we have to gather in the stars. Then we have to haul in the moon, and after that we have to hang out the sun, and then we have to haul those clouds around all day." And his friend down there looks up and says, "How come you have to work so hard up there?" And he says, "Well, the facts are we're kind of short of help up here." Are you coming, Chris? Okay, so now, this is the magic of Christopher Robin. Chris Palmer is our secretary this year, and he's been doing a good job of getting our meeting minutes into the linking ring, which I'm sure you'll see starting in December or January. So let's give Chris a nice big hand.
My name is Christopher Robin. That's the stage name I go by. And I'm primarily a children's entertainer. I'm going to show you a few things I do for my children's show. Never later. And here we go. Oops. Filled with a little lighter fluid. Whoa. Okay. Now, I have here a red handkerchief. I have here a yellow napkin. I'm used to working with this type of thing. Mine doesn't move. Okay. I have here a yellow napkin. And pardon me, Gordon, but I'm going to steal something. Can you all see this side of the napkin? And I have this side of the napkin. And can anybody see the invisible pocket in this napkin? I mean, you want to guess which side? It's invisible, you can't find it. I'm going to help you find it through the process of illumination. Rip it in half like this. And it'll make these things look pretty perforated here. Let's see. We'll have to guess which half has the invisible pocket. We want to take a shot at it? How about this half? Glad you said that. Okay. Which half now? Well, I guess that one. This half. Glad you said. Let's see. Nice even pieces here. How about that one? Yeah. Made off my own heart there. Okay. How about the half?
Sure. Yeah. That's okay.
Okay. It's getting a bit smaller here. Well, I guess now. Choose a smaller half, it goes faster. Okay. I have I'm down to two little pieces here. Which I guess now. This half? Sure. Sure, I'll take this half. Okay. Now, can you see it now? I've eliminated most of it. You should be able to see it now. It's cutting down. All you have to do is just reach into the pocket like that. You can pull out your green silk. Now, I have here a red silk, a green silk. And that goes again. What about use to these tables? Okay. Well, I'm gonna edit this. See inside? See me, that's all. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the green silk, place the green silk into the green tube, take the red silk, place the red silk into the red tube. Now, for some reason, people never ask me why I do this. I don't know if they ever ask me anyhow. Here we go. Place them in. And now, let's see, I need my magic wand here. And, did you see it? Didn't see it? What color silk did I have in the red one?
Red.
What did I have in the green?
Green.
You didn't see them switch? Watch. Oh, stay away from this. And that's it. What do you see inside the silks here? Inside the tube, excuse me. Nothing, just me. Now, I have here. A little dangerous here, but okay. Let's do this. I need a volunteer from the audience here. Anybody handy? How about Dave? Hi, Dave. What's your name?
Dave Downs.
Oh, okay. Now, I have here, what's this?
A red silk.
Red silk. And tell your rendition. Rendition's called silks. Okay. I just call it a handkerchief, that's okay. Okay, I want you to do is take this between two hands. And you know what this is?
A safety pin.
No, it's a generic diaper pin. It doesn't have a little pink elephant head on top of it. What I'm going to do here, do you ever have kids, don't you, Dave?
Yes, we do have.
Okay. Now, did you ever have problems when you're putting the contemporary diapers on a kid? The little diaper gets stuck and the kid bites it from screaming and stabs him on the side here. Do you ever have that problem?
No, but I had problems sticking the pin into the diaper.
Okay. I'm going to show what happens if you have this problem. With Pampers takes you on this problem. I have this very tightly. And what I did one time is my sisters always taught me to diapering my nephews when they come over for a visit. And this is how I learned this trick. I used to get the pin stuck on the wrong side. What I'm going to do is, if it's stuck on this side, all you do is slide it like that and it goes back over to the other side. and show it to everybody. Yeah. Now the secret of that is while sliding it along, it does keep it from stabbing into the kid. But the kid can awfully nasty little white burn after that. And that's how you get the diaper print on the other side of the kid. Thank you, Dave. And before I kick this anymore, I'll do this trick. See? Get rid of this. Now, how many people here do their own laundry? Anybody out there? Raise your hands. Okay. How many people con their wives and mothers into doing their hair? As you all know, as being a magician, like most of you out there, you can tell I haven't pressed most of my things, including my vest. You don't always have time to press or to clean. So what we do, well I do, I have my little, anybody know what, everything's falling apart here. Anybody know what this is? Picture of? Dragoon. Dragoon, that's it. That's a ricotta cheese, dragon. Now, this is empty, and it's also made of metal. And the reason why is dragons are very hot, right? This is the dragon's cave right here. It fits over like that. It's outside. And, see, I have here, metal tube also. That's because this also gets very hot. And this is made out of Pyrex. If you believe that, I'll pay him. I'm going to take a little slightly red handkerchief, place it over the tube, not kick the table, stand back, place the silk into the tube. Now watch. What I'm going to do before your very eyes is magically make this red silk clean itself. Press it, everything. It's a Chinese laundry dragon, that's why. And we need a little help from the dragon here. We're going to see if we can talk him to help me though. This is home. Let's take a look. The dragon tube. Notice how I stayed to the right. And we have here the other tube. And we have a clean red silk. I said clean, not bleach. There's a big difference. Oh, anyhow. Did a nice, neat job, though. Two for the price of one. Must be Wednesday. It's one of the best tailors I've ever had, I think. And something's kind of weird here. That shouldn't be happening. Wait a minute. Nope. Red one's gone. Take a look. You can't trust these dragon laundry people. Oh, I'll tell you why. You can see why they tend to. Excuse me. Handy, huh? See, this is why. Because they tend to mix your colors. Red, green, and purple. Usually the kids are screaming by now. Blue, and they all know their colors real well. I'll let you know in about 80 decibels. Orange and purple and yellow. And earlier in the show, there you go. Here's my cat from earlier in the show. You have to be careful. Again, like I said, you never know when he's gonna. Oh, there's a spear. And there's my cane, or as kids call it, a big magic wand. And that. You're awesome in the crowd. And that before I kick the table one more time, let us end the show. Thank you very much.
The third graders, most of those, well, all those children were born after the oil crisis, believe it or not. And so, yeah, they were. And so a lot of them don't, well, most of them don't know a lot about the history of culture. And so when I tell jokes, most of them don't laugh. And so I'm in there laughing all by myself in my room, telling jokes. But what I do ahead of time is I explain to them something about the culture so that they'll know why it's supposed to be funny, and then I get a few smiles. And I've learned over the years because I tell the same jokes over and over. And one of them I tell is about this hobo that's walking down the street, and he notices these rich people up on the porch. And so I explain to them why we don't have porches anymore, at least front porches. Now we have the back porch, which is called the deck nowadays. But I go through the cultural reason why we didn't have TV back then and all that. And also that you'd come to the back door to get handouts and that sort of thing. So anyways, and I have to be careful, I can't say that the bum is walking down the street because I get from them. It's a hobo. So the hobo is walking down the street. He sees the three rich people up on the porch, and so he figures he'd get a handout, so he goes down on their front lawn and he just starts ripping up the grass and eating it. And the ladies on the porch say, "Hey, what are you doing on our front lawn?" And he said, "I'm eating grass. I'm so hungry, I'm eating grass." And the ladies are there, "You poor man, come around to the back door. The grass is a lot longer around there." Much better reception than I get in my third grade classroom each year. So, okay, are we ready, Joe? Or are we rolling already? Joe, I can't see you, so you have to tell me.
Go.
Okay, all right. Right now we're going to introduce Jose Manis here. He was a past president of Ring 122. He's also known as Jerry Rosenfield. He's also known as Jerry Fields. He's also known as Ann's husband. Here he is, Jerry. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And we talked earlier. We were totally unprepared for today. And I thought it would only be fitting and proper with such prestidigitators who are in the room today, who came up with such miracles, that how could I follow this? And the only thing I could think of was with a little earlier preparation, unbeknownst to the owner of this premise. I have here one of the grandest illusions that you are about to see. Through no great expense to myself or anybody else, I have brought, Houdini did it in the Hippodrome. It has been done by other famous name magicians. One of the biggest illusions of its time. We all know what it is. So if you wait just a moment, Bonham had one that was huge. His name was Jumbo. I am going to go back and bring one out for you right now. I'm sure you all know what it is, but it will only take a second. It's rather noisy, but we'll get him. We have it here, ladies and gentlemen. An elephant. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, for your pleasure, we are going to do that famous magic effect, the vanishing elephant. Right before your eyes, a miracle is about to take place. But we are going to incorporate into this something a little different. I will put it down like so. Magicians all have gimmicks. Houdini did not have a gimmick when he did it in the Hippodrome. What he had was just a stage and an elephant. All I have here is my elephant Tiny and this little stage. But in order to do this properly, a little foulard, otherwise known as a silk, and we'll just place that over the top of it like so. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need your help. Does anyone here know the magic word? Sir?
Abracadabra.
That was last year's, sir. This year's is hocus pocus. I'm going to ask everyone in the room to help me, on the count of 3, to say the magic words, hocus pocus. Now, if this works right, ladies and gentlemen, you are absolutely going to see a miracle right before your eyes. This is absolutely fantastic. Every time I do this, it astounds me. Watch closely now. Here we go. 1, 2, all together on the count of 3. 3!
Okay.
And there you see it, ladies and gentlemen, a miracle. But watch closely. Right now, you're going to see it happen before your eyes again once more. Watch.
I feel something. Is this it? Wait a minute.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is right here. Jumbo, the elephant. That's known as method acting, and I thank you very much, Mary. That was terrific. Okay, right now we have a gentleman in the audience. Sir, right here. This gentleman right here with the curly hair, yes. Would you come up here? What is your first name, sir?
Joel.
Joe, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a crutch. This is, are you in a magic show, Joe?
Yeah, fooling show.
You're in the fooling show. And you were the one that jumped out of the box, and this fella over here that did the last effect with the foot was in the way, and this is how it happened.
Right.
I figured I knew how it was. Sir, I have something here. You're going to enjoy this very much. This is called discernment. Discernment is being able to discern something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You do. What we have here, what is your first name, sir?
Joel.
Joel. Okay, you remember that. I wanted to see if you did. Joel, what we have here is a little can of peas. But there are two types of peas in here. One is an African spotted pea, and one is a regular pea. Now, what I'd like you to look in there and pick one of those peas mentally. You have the African spotted pea and the regular pea. Have you picked one of those peas?
Yeah.
You have mentally. Would you do me a favor? Would you tell me which pea it was? Because I'm going to do something right before your eyes. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to make it disappear. Which pea was it?
The African spotted pea.
You want to see the African spotted pea disappear. You're going to see it. Put your hand out there. If we take the African spotted pea away, that leaves us with one pea. What is that, Joe?
The ordinary pea.
The regular pea. That's right, Joe. Thank you very much. Let's give Joel a big hand. Great stuff.
I hope that isn't real. That was only water, wasn't it?
I hope so.
It's all right, Joel. Check it.
No.
Sorry, it's good for Tommy.
This here, I learned this from Mr. Goulet. Mr. Goulet told me, when I say Mr. Goulet, I treat him with great respect, inasmuch as he told me this was called the grand illusion. Now, I've seen a little bit of fire magic earlier, and I thought maybe this would work. I'm going to try this. That wasn't the right thing to do. Let me try it again. I tell you what it takes. It takes what they call the power of concentration of everyone in the room. What I'm going to do, if this works properly, and I hope it does, take a match, palm of my hand, and I hope this works. Bright lights. Watch. Ray sells the finest gossamer there is in the world. And when I say that, you're going to see what I mean right now. I'm sure you know what gossamer is. Thread. The finest thread in the world. Right now, before your eyes. If it works, miracle.
Burn him.
ladies and gentlemen, we've all heard a die, a single dice. Sir, would you stand up, please? Would you step this way, please, sir? I'd like you to look inside the box here, sir, and notice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have all those dies right in there, as you can see. Place the cover on the box. The die. Would you take that die and would you cast it on the table? The number, you can see, 6. If you cast the die on the table just like so, would you do it again? One more time. This time, half of 6, 3. By casting the die, you can see that it can come out at any number. It's chance. What we're going to do right now, sir, is put that on top of that box. I want you, you're doing it right now. You're fantastic. What is your first name, sir?
Vic.
Vic? Vic, do you gamble at all? A little bit? I could tell. I think so. Because right at this particular point, Vic, I've seen something happen here. When you were sure what you were doing. You kept it in multiples. When I say that 6, then 3, and then if you look here, Vic, the box you can see. We have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. Vic, this is what they call the odds are yours. With that, I'll say thank you, and it works out fantastic, and thank you very much, Vic. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will bid adieu and thank you one and all.
Such a nice big music.
I'd like the assistance of two people who've never seen me perform. I don't believe you've ever seen me perform. And Bob Massey, right? You've never seen me perform. Would you stand on one side, and you stand on the other? I'd like you to look these over carefully, examine them for a moment. Now, Bob, I'd like to see the palm of your hand. Now, I see by a little palmistry here that you have a nice, healthy lifeline. That means you'll have a long life, Bob, and a happy life, at least till the end of this performance. Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask the two of you, you look like you're ready for a handout. I'm going to ask the two of you to put your hands together like this in a moment, sturdily and flat, making little tables out of your hands. And they're going to be within reach of my hands, because the magic will happen in your palms. But not right now, in a moment. And what is your name?
Vic.
Vic, hi, Vic. Now, that you've warmed these up and made them feel homey, what do you have here? What do I have now? What do you look for?
$4 half.
$4 half. Anything else you can say in describing them?
Vic Kennedy.
Kennedy. Fine. Now, most people, because they're always there on our coins, they fail to recognize our national emblem, the eagle on each of these coins. You've all heard of homing pigeons. There are plenty of those around. You know, they home in on your freshly planted garden, and they bomb in on your newly washed car. But few people realize that the eagles on these coins are homing eagles. Now, I'd like you to both hold your hands out like this, as if you were going for a good handout, and a little bit lower, Vic. Okay, within reach of me. Now, because you've made these eagles warm and cozy in your hands, their migrating instinct has been aroused, and they're going to return to their nest in your hands. If you watch closely, you may see them fly visibly or invisibly. Where the first has flown, the second is sure to follow. And where two have ventured, the third cannot be
far behind. Now, the last eagle is, hold it down a little, fine. The last eagle is the most difficult to coax to migrate. See, that's because everyone is keeping an eagle eye on him. You think I did something suspicious there. But no, there's this one eagle to fly to join these three in your palm. Now I'm going to arrange these in what we call a decoy pattern. It's actually just a triangular pattern, because those three are going to act as lures to lure this last eagle to fly invisibly from here to here, which just goes to prove that birds of a feather flock together, or an eagle in the hand better than hands in the mouth. Since you've seen a bit of transposition there, I'd like to try a psychological experiment. Actually, this is to help reveal how and why magic sometimes works. Sure it will. How many of you know what a mirage is? Well, some people know and some people don't. And I'd like to show you a mirage. A joker, an ace, a joker, and a joker. As you can see, in a room full of magicians, there's always more than one joker. Now, of these few cards I've shown you, if you're paying attention, can you tell me which is the one odd card? Vic, can you say which is one odd card? The one that's different from all of the others. The ace. Everybody else trying to say the ace? Well, actually, that's the mirage, for it's just the opposite. And we have an ace, a joker, an ace, and an ace. So you see, actually, a mirage is an optical illusion in which you see something that isn't there. This next item I'll just do off the cuff because it's one of the items we have for the raffle, so I just thought it would be a good chance to demonstrate. This is a classic. Some of you may have seen it. Others may have not. But this is based on a premonition. I had a premonition and I recorded it in this envelope earlier. And we'll leave that. Well, why don't you hold on to it, Dave? We'll also use, you don't have to hold it up that way, but just don't switch it. We'll also use this deck of cards. Now actually this isn't a card trick. It's more in the way of a mental coincidence. Vic, since you've helped me so well, I'm going to ask you to think of an hour of the day that has some significance to you, such as 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Okay, you just thinking of it? Okay, because I'm going to try to determine that hour. That hour will help us arrive at a card. Okay. Got it? Okay. I get the impression that perhaps you were thinking of 4 o'clock. Would I be close? Yeah, you started to think of 4 o'clock, and then you changed your mind and arrived at another hour. Is that correct? Okay, as I said, we're going to use that hour to arrive at a card. Would you just name whatever hour it is, and I will count down that number of cards. We'll use that number 6, okay? So we'll use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to form a clock dial here. So I will use 12 cards to represent the numbers of the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we don't need these cards anymore. A moment. By arranging these in a clock dial, this will represent 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you gave me an hour. It wasn't. It was 6. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We will arrive at this card, number 6. Dave, I gave you a prediction, something that I had placed in here earlier. I had removed a card from another deck, 1 card only. And amazingly enough, that happens to be the card that matches the card you were thinking of. Now you think that may be coincidence, but not only does the face match, but these are the only 2 cards in the deck in which the backs match. They're both blank. Now you might not think that's too much of a miracle, but you see, these blank cards, which match both backs and faces, do not happen to match this card, nor this card, or this card, nor any of the cards on the clock dial here. As a matter of fact, these 2 cards, which match both faces and backs, are the only cards in the deck to match in any way. And that's one of the options.
Okay. The next performer and our last performer for tonight is David Brisboy. He's Fu Ling, the Mandarin Master of Mystery. Let's give him a nice big hand.
A few years ago, I had the opportunity to join a magic show. Now, this wasn't just any magic show. It was one of the greatest magic shows I've ever seen in my life. It was put on by a man named Bernard Whitman, and he was Fu Ling. And I joined his show, and I wanted to learn magic. One of the first things ever taught me was the fantastic rings, or the linking rings, as some of you might know them as. And there's a little story that goes with my performance of the linking rings. One night at a show, Mr. Whitman came up to me and said, "Tonight, David, when you come to bring the rings on to me, I would like you to perform them." And from that day on, I have been performing the rings in the Fu Ling show, which I am now starring in as Fu Ling. So tonight I think it is fitting, because this tape is going to be saved for history, to have the original Fu Ling, Bernard Whitman, assist me in my presentation of the linking rings.
I gave up performing the Lincoln Ring.
Refreshments tonight, we appreciate comments tonight, that was real great. And also Joe Venuto for bringing in his videotape machine. Joe's work has just begun because he's offered to make copies of this tape for people that brought in tapes tonight. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone who took part tonight.